Hi, I'm Venus DeMilo Thomas. Join me at the Academy Museum for a talk with filmmaker and director Ngozi Onwurah as she discusses the history and impact of Afrofuturism in the cyberpunk genre. We will also discuss the making of Ngozi Onwurah's first feature, Welcome to the Terrordome, back in 1995. This was the first theatrically distributed British film directed by a Black woman. Welcome to the Terrordome is a feature film that explores a dystopian future. It's also a hip-hop album by Public Enemy, which is inspired by the film. It features rap, which also lends itself to poetry, and Ngozi will speak to the oral tradition that she finds very important to carry along in the tropes of this film. Also in this film is a scene that represents Igbo Landing, a historic event that I did not know about, and it's a cultural symbol within Igbo mythology and the African diaspora. It refers to the story of the Igbo people who, during the transatlantic slave trade, chose to commit mass suicide by walking into Georgia Bay in 1803 rather than being enslaved. This event has become a powerful symbol of resistance and resilience among the Igbo people and African history. In this film, Ngozi explores techniques like making the Igbo landing scenes sepia tone and dreamlike, creating her own visual effects.
The idea with Terrordome was to work on some of those commonalities, some of the things that we all had in our histories and in our presence, and see how that would lead into the future. I mean, ultimately in the Terrordome, they don't make it to the future till right at the end. They're trapped somewhere, they're trying.
Spoiler alert, guys, if you didn't see Terrordome. She just blew it for you. Spoiler alert. You gotta say spoiler alert these days.
The land of the dead. And the elders already told us that the land of the dead was where our ancestors lived and the spirits roamed. But these people were not our ancestors. In the land where we came from, it is said that if a man uses only his eyes, he will never see danger until it is too late. They looked to us and saw nothing. We looked at them and saw everything. This was a place beyond death.
Spoiler alert. When they go underground, when they go into the water, it's a place, they think they're going somewhere, but they don't make it there. They get trapped in the Terrordome. And the Terrordome, it's very important, could be anywhere and nowhere. So it could be in America, it could be in Africa, it could be in Britain. You recognize certain things from all of them, and yet there's certain non-specifics about it too. None of the African diaspora had made it to where they could have been had they never encountered white people, right? It's like we don't know what that future, we don't know what that future is, but there are so many things that we need to be together in it, and we need to understand that we haven't made it to freedom yet. None of us have made it to freedom yet. And that was where this place was, the Terrordome. And when you get there, there are West Indians, there are Africans, there are Yorubas, there are Igbos. It's the place that everybody has ended up to while they wait to go to the land of the ancestors or back to the continent or to freedom. There was incredible racism. I didn't want to be black. That's what Copy Colored Children is about. I used to try to bleach my skin and all that kind of stuff. When I found my black identity, since that moment, I'm so grateful. Like, I can't tell you how grateful I am that I am black. And that is so inbred into us in terms of the joy that we have amongst each other and in our lives and in the way we live. And you can't have the Terrordome without showing that. And as a filmmaker, at that point in time, it was almost like the only films you could make about the black experience was, sort of documentary type handheld things about how terrible things were and how, what have you, or The Fool. There was lots of Fool, like slapstick kind of comedy things. There was no alternative. And I mean, there were some, I'm just saying on the overall. And the idea with Terrordome was to stay true to lived experiences, and to stay true to lived experiences, you incorporate the joy. It was joyful film to make as well. Like, people were really, I mean, I'm looking at one of the actresses here because it was a nightmare as well, but there was some really...
We'll be talking.
It also reminded me a lot of oral storytelling. It felt like a continuation, like an adaptation and continuation in Britain and America as a form of oral storytelling, because I think it is. I think hip-hop is oral storytelling. And I grew up with oral storytelling. Those were the stories that I were told. And also Nigerian storytelling in particular is very vivid. It's very, very vivid. Snakes swallow people and vultures devour you, and it's very, and hip-hop is like that. It's very, this hip-hop, not the, well, I sound like an old person now. Not the hip-hop they're doing these days. Not Kendrick. Kendrick's alone.
We got to be careful with Kendrick.
Yeah, no, Kendrick is...
He'll get at you. Kendrick has a streak. He'll find you.
So, what was with rap, you can be really angry and you can be really blunt and you can tell things like it is, but you can play it at a party and people will dance to it and people will get relief from it, and that was the sort of things that I was trying to do with the Terrordome. So it was meant to be a hip-hop film. It was meant to be a continuation, that's why there's so many words in it. It's meant to be a continuation of the Igbo oral storytelling mixed with what happened with American and British hip-hop. So it was like meant to be sort of part of this diaspora thing that I will go on and on about. So there's an iconic, so he was shot by this apartheid regime during an uprising in Soweto. And an older boy, not much older, maybe Hector I think was 11, 9, 10, 11, and boys about 17, 18, is carrying him. It's like there's bullets going off everywhere, there's bodies, and he's and it was a moment that started. It was a result of the oppression, and it really kick-started, and it was an important moment in the South African black resistance in South Africa, and that's an iconic picture. So when you see him being carried into the water by his dad, that is meant to be a visual reference back to that's where his story came from. And then when he dies in the Terrordome, and there's a funeral for him, or not a funeral, a sort of memorial for him, he's carried in the same way. So it was linking again the diaspora. So that was South Africa. With
Thank you very much for kissing your hands, Jockey. For 60 years, I have sat by and taken their shit. Her people's shit. Do you hear me? No more, Chrissy. No more. Enough is enough.
I think, and in the same way when Rosa refused to stand up, it was a moment, and this was a bigger moment for me than that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, it's also, she just lost her grandson.
Pop. So when we were doing it for the gangs, when we were doing it for the blood, things, when we needed colour, they would really pop. But that the background stayed. I was trying to make it beautiful as well. Like, I was trying to say, these are the lives that people have, but you know what? We make it beautiful our way. Owned and but innocence, once innocence is lost, it's not innocence anymore, and we know too much, and we've been through too much, and we will never know what our lives and our civilizations and our cultures would have been if we hadn't had this absolute colonialism, slavery. I mean, if we hadn't came into contact in that way with white people, we will never know that, so we can't claim it. We have to, that's part of our job, to imagine certain of those things, and also to deal with some of the complexities of it, like, certain things that we appreciate because of that me on a really such a stupid level. But when I'm in Nigeria, I need to find a cappuccino. It's like, I just, so there's certain things that you've become, because we are now, this is now our history as well. And part of the future is taking ownership, claiming things and reimagining them, re-envisaging them, and seeing it through our eyes. And when we see it through our eyes, all our history comes with us. And that's the best we can do. But it's an exciting thing to do now. We are so passing the baton on, because I think we need the energy. So the benefits that you guys are having is, I think it's more democratized filmmaking up to a certain level. So when I started, you had to shoot on film. That was really expensive. You need really expensive cameras. You had to go to labs. Now there's a whole possibility to make. And I think filmmakers make films, so just make them, right? Just get out and make them. Whatever standard you're at, make them. And what you have at the moment is the ability to make these things, but the gatekeepers are still there. So you can get it onto YouTube, you can get it onto festivals, but to actually use it as a thing to break into the system, that's still hard. But you have a way of doing it, and your energy and your determination. And I also think there's a savviness that your generation has as well about things like distribution and audience and social media campaigns and things like that to make things happen. But I am watching you to see, like, you're going to lead now, because I think you have this democratization. You also have a lot more films that you have Moonlight, you have a lot more films that you can dip into in a way that, and take. You have Black Panther, for fuck's sake. I didn't even know I needed Black Panther till I saw it. And now, like, I can't imagine growing up in a world where you have Black Panther and you've got it. So I'm saying there's less excuse on one level, but on another level, we didn't quite do it all. So you guys need to do it.